Alright guys, so for this trick I just need 2 helper cards, and those 2 cards just so happen to be the 2 jokers. So we are going to set the jokers aside for now, and I also need the spectator to go ahead and select any card that they want. So let's say they go ahead and touch this card, and it doesn't matter what the card is. Let's say it's the 5 of spades. Now the spectator can actually sign the card if they would like to, but we are just going to go ahead and actually place this card right over here, and we actually do not need the rest of the deck for the trick. So clearly you can see the 5 is in between the jokers. Now this is sort of a game called 3-card Monte, where you have to follow your card at all times, and traditionally the card will be initially placed in between the other 2 distractor cards. So where's the 5 of spades right now? You can clearly see it's in the middle, right? Now that's obvious. Now all you have to do is just watch where the 5 goes. So I just do this, and I show you I have 2 jokers here in my hand, so where should the 5 be? It should be here, right? And obviously it is. So that's perfect. So now we're going to do this again, and just remember that the card always ends up in between the jokers. So we're going to place the 5 down on the table again, and you can see I have the 2 jokers here in my hand, so where should the 5 be? Well, it should be here, but that's a joker, and it should be in my hand, but those are also jokers. And actually, if I snap my fingers, this is where the gambler shows you that all of the cards are actually jokers, and the 5 is nowhere to be found. But remember, if you had to guess one more time where's the 5, you should guess in the middle, because the 5 is always in the middle of the 2 jokers. And that is the trick, and now for the tutorial. Alright guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So all you're going to need for this trick is just 2 identical cards, 2 jokers, and if you want, you actually don't need to have 2 identical jokers. If you want to, you could also use face cards. Like you could, for example, use the 2 black queens as your jokers. And obviously these 2 cards are not identical, but they obviously look very, very similar. And you can do this with the bicycle deck as well. Obviously I'm not using a bicycle deck at the moment, but you can obviously do this with any deck that you want. But for now, we're just going to be using the 2 jokers. So once you have 2 jokers, you can just get them out, and I placed them on top. This is how I did the little production. So I placed them on top of the deck, one of them face up and the other on top face down. I did a dribble like this, and then on the last card I actually just sort of held it here and then released my thumb and flipped it over in my fingers just like this. And that's really all I did for the production. So I just dribble the cards, and then boom, I just flip over that last card, and it just sort of makes the jokers appear like out of nowhere, and it looks really cool. So at this point you take the jokers just like this, you show them that they're normal, and then you're going to place them on the table. Now you can have the spectator select any card that they want. So let's say they select this card over here. Let's say it is the 5 of hearts in this case. Now you're just going to turn it over and place it down onto the table, and then you can set the rest of the deck down. And now you're going to place the card in between the jokers, and you're going to start by saying that we have the card in between the jokers, and this is traditionally what a 3-card Monte game sort of looks like. The card starts in between the jokers, or the distractor cards, and then the gambler or magician has you guess where the card is. So first you have them guess where the card is, and it's kind of obvious it's in the middle, so you just flip it over and show them that yes, it is in the middle. Now here's where the sleight of hand kicks in. For the 2 phases that I do, it's essentially the same thing, but there's only one little difference that switches the card around. So here's the first phase. So I hold the cards like this. I hold the 2 in my left hand and then the 1 joker in my right hand. Then I'm going to transfer the selection over to my right hand on top of the joker in my right hand, just like this. Then all I'm going to do is turn my wrist over and actually set the 5 down. Like I'm not doing it in a sleight of hand. I'm actually just setting the 5 of hearts down, leaving the other joker in my hand. But you're not going to flip over this joker when you come back. So you're not going to turn it back over. So it should look something like this. So you're just going to take the 5, go like that, and leave this card face down. That's all I meant to say. Once this card is face down, and once you place the card down, you're going to use just this hand to turn over that joker, place this card on top now of that joker. And now you're going to do what's called a frustration count. So you're going to turn your wrist over, showing the joker, turn it back over, take the top card off, and then flip your wrist over with this card again. And you're just showing the same card twice. And you don't technically have to do a frustration count because you do really have 2 jokers here. But for consistency with the second phase, you are going to need to do this again. So just do the frustration count twice, and then it will look more normal and less suspicious. So show 1 joker, peel off the top card, and then flip your wrist over again, show the other joker, and then set that one on top. And then you're just going to say, where's the 5 of hearts, or where's your selection? And as you say this, you're going to take the 2 cards in your hand and just switch them around just like this. In this phase, it doesn't matter because they're just the same card, but it will matter in the next phase. So just remember to switch the cards around, and then they're going to point, my card is here, and you're going to say, obviously, that's correct. And you can flip those 2 cards back over, and then put the 5 back in the middle. So now here's the second phase. So remember how before I put the card down, I put the 5 here on top of this joker, and then I put it down on the table, leaving me with the joker in my hand. Well, actually, I'm going to do the opposite. So instead of putting the 5 here on top of the card, I'm going to take the 5 and put it underneath the card. So the joker is now on top. It's going to look like I'm putting the 5 on the table, but in reality, I actually put a joker on the table. So what I'm doing is I put the 5 on the bottom, and then as I flip my wrist over, my fingers are going to pull back the card and my thumb is going to slide forward. So you're just essentially doing this. You're just sort of switching the cards around like this. And you do that as you turn your wrist over. So you're going to turn your wrist over and set that card down. And now this card should be the 5 in your hand, but do not flip it over. So just set it down and then come back like this. Turn the card over in your hand and then put this on top. Now at this point, you're going to do the same thing as before. You're just going to turn over your wrist, show the joker, and do another frustration count. Take the top card off, show the other joker, put it on top, and then say, so where should the 5 be? And when you say this, remember to switch the cards around, and that actually brings the 5 on top. And they're going to say here, but when you flip over this card and they see a joker, they're going to be like, wait, what? And then take this card and turn it back over on the table. So don't leave it face up, leave it face down. So you're going to show the card, turn it back over, leave it face down, and then you're going to say, so it should be in my hand. But now you're going to show the 2 jokers and you're just going to do another frustration count, just a normal frustration count. Then you're going to take these 2 cards, place them on top. And now you're going to do this really cool move. It's very, very convincing to the spectator, showing all 3 cards are jokers. So it's a false count. The 5 is really in the middle, but this is what you're going to do. So you're going to hold the cards in this grip here, just like this, in your right hand. And then you're going to flip your wrist over just like this. And then you're going to turn it back over. When you turn your wrist back over, your thumb is actually going to slide the top card over to the right, so towards like the hand that you're holding it in. And then when you do that, you're going to transfer the rest of the pack here, the 2 cards, into your left hand, and then set the top card on the table. And then you're going to transfer the same grip essentially to your left hand like this. You're going to flip over your wrist again in your left hand. When you flip your hand back over, you're going to slide the top card over to the left towards the hand that you're holding it in, and then set the top card down on the table, and then one more time flip this wrist over, showing that card, and then you can set that down on top. So that's essentially the false count, and at full speed it looks something like this. So you're going to say 1, 2, and 3 jokers, and then it looks like all 3 jokers are there. But then you say, now where's the card? And then you can say, well, you should always remember that the card is always in between the other 2 jokers. And then that will just blow people away because they just saw 3 jokers. You can have them examine the cards and everything is completely examinable. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this one. This is sort of like a half-baked idea. Like, it's not really a complete, full effect, but you guys can feel free to just add it into your own impromptu 3-card money effects. And yeah, just have fun with it. So I really hope you guys enjoy this one, and see you guys for my next one. Bye.